my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Put your hands together. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. You are my light, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. Go on and give God a huge hand. Go on and find someone around you, whether you know them or not. Shake their hand. If you don't feel comfortable, wave. Let's all say good morning to each other.
We are glad you're here today. We're glad you came to worship with us. I don't know, but the Lord may be calling you out today. He may be calling you to serve, to minister, maybe calling you out of your comfort zone. And He promises when He does, He'll cover you with His love and with His presence if we'll just step out and obey. Let's sing about that this morning. All right, sing this. I stand before you now. I stand before you now. The greatness of your Let's declare this together. Let's declare our confidence in him, that he'll give us the strength we need to do his will. You make me brave. You make me brave. You call me out beyond the shore into the waves. You make me brave. You make me brave. No fear can hinder now the love you've made away. You make me brave. You make me brave. You call me out beyond the shore into the waves. You make me brave. You make me brave. No fear can hinder now the love you've made away. A little louder, church. Here we go. You make me brave. You make me brave. You call me out beyond the shore into the waves. You make me brave. You make me brave. No fear can hinder now the promises you made. As your love in wave after wave crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way for all to enter into your love. As wave after wave crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way. Champion of heaven, you made a way for all to enter in. Amen.
As we sing this last song, just think about how great our God is and how much that means to you and how he's shown it in your life.
The splendor of the King, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light and trembles at his voice, and trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And oh, we'll see how great is our God. Age to age he stands, and time is in his hands, beginning
Go on and give God a huge hand, everyone. Shout out. Amen. Y'all may be seated.
Amen, amen. How great is our God? You know, it's awesome. I saw football started, high school football, college football started yesterday. People out there cheering their teams on, which is good. But this morning, it's worship to our God. You know, the name above all names. So it's awesome to be here with you to worship and to honor him for who he is. At this time, we'll dismiss the kids to go to children's church. Bye, guys. Pay attention to your teachers. And a couple of quick announcements. There are some big events coming up. A ladies' retreat. Time to retreat, ladies. Coming up. Amen. You can sign up. There's information in the back. It's been prepared, prayed over. It's coming up. And ladies, sign up for it. You'll have a great time and draw closer to the Lord. Information out in the atrium about it. And a grandparent seminar coming up. And there's information out there about it. It'll be simulcast. We'll have it here, and I'm really looking forward to that. I love being a discipler of my grandkids, and just to learn way better ways to do it. I'm really look forward to doing that, being challenged in that. So get signed up for those. Well, this morning we're having a guest speaker. I'm really excited to introduce him to you. Pastor Roy is doing much better, doing very good. He's at the end of staying away for COVID, and he's feeling good, feeling really good. But nothing can keep him away from here next Sunday. So he'll be preaching next Sunday, and I know he's really looking forward to getting back. But this morning, you're in for a treat, a big treat today. I've known him since the 90s. That's a long time ago. And he was a teenager, grew up in the youth group, and I got to be his youth leader back in the day. And he was in high school here, then went to college. While he was at college up at Tech, he would come back in the summers, and we'd hire him to work with our teenagers and teach music to them. And for years, ever since I've known him, he has taught music to numerous people and singing to numerous people here at Westland. And you know him as Goob. I know him then as Jeremy. But Jeremy Howard's been around Westland since the 90s. He loves Westland. And he's going to challenge us today with a passage, with the passage to really how to take that next step in our life and why we should do it. So would you help me welcome Jeremy Goob Howard?
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. In the first service, he didn't call me Goob, and I was like, who are you talking about, man? I was like, he was there the day that I got the name. Okay, yeah, my name's Jeremy. My mom and Jimmy, and I think like maybe two more of my friends are the only ones that still on the planet that call me Jeremy. So if you call me Jeremy, I'm just going to call you Mom. Hey, Mom, what's up? Because they're the ones that do that. I think I have two friends from high school. It's kind of funny. Anytime I'm anywhere with my family and someone says, Jeremy Howard, my wife's like, here's somebody you hadn't seen in 30 years. I'm like, you're exactly right. So I'll tell you a little bit how they got that name. So those of you that are new to Westland, I'm really, really glad you're new to Westland. I'm glad you're here. This is your first time here. I'm super excited that you're here. I'm excited for everybody, but I'm really excited that you're here for the first time. Some of you folks that haven't been here for a while, it's really good to see a couple of you guys. Love it. But I'll tell you how I got the name Goob. My first summer that I worked here in 1997, we were having vacation Bible school, and I literally went to fill out my name tag. And Jeremy's just not fun enough for vacation Bible school, so I literally wrote Goober. I thought about it for about 10 seconds and wrote Goober, and it literally stuck. I'm glad I picked Goober, not Butthead, because that would, Uncle Butthead just doesn't have that same, it's probably more fitting. But no, I'm Goob, and it's been affectionately, went from Goober to Goob, and it's just kind of, that stayed there. I love it. It's a great icebreaker. For me, I'm all about relationships. That's one thing God has taken me on my journey, is how to do and be effective with relationships with people. I love it. I love it that he challenged me in that way, because I was actually a very introverted kid, if you can believe that. And I still would probably be where I prefer to go is maybe introverted, kind of maybe do my own thing on a Friday if I have a day off, do my own thing. But God has really challenged me and gifted me with relationships, and Goob fits right in with that. So I'm going to jump right in with that and continue with just giving you a little bit about me. Some of you guys that haven't been around Westland since I've been here, which is most of you guys, you may not know my backstory. Okay, so I'm going to literally tell you my back story, okay? Back when my first trip to Westland, my first experience, my first encounter with Westland was with Roy in 1988, right when he first got here. He took a group of kids, I think I was in 4th or 5th grade at the time, took us to Astroworld. He literally had that orange van that you all can remember from the 70s and 80s with the shag carpet. You remember what it smells like? Yeah, me too. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? You can picture that thing. He took a group of us to Astroworld. That was my first encounter with Westland, and I'm still here. Like, so the van wasn't that bad. And then in 1991, my sister became best friends with Jimmy's niece, Kimberly. Elvin and Belinda, those of you guys know Elvin and Belinda, they were here a few weeks ago. My sister became good friends with them, so I came to church with my sister because of Kim. And so my first Sunday was in 1991 in December. Well, fast forward a little bit ahead to that. Wasn't really plugged in. I'd visited a few times because of my sister. But in March, spring break of my freshman year in high school, it was on a Friday. We got out one day early because of the rodeo stuff that we had around here. So we had Friday through Sunday, the spring break. And I was really excited because, man, spring break, it's awesome. My friends, we had all these plans that freshman guys have. Nobody has plans, but we're like, yeah, we're gonna have these plans. And so they were like, all right, Goob, we're gonna go to this cool swim hole. And I was like, sounds cool, man. I like swimming. I like holes. I like swimming holes. All right. So they were like, it's this place called the Cliffs. I was like, cool. Sounds even better. Holes, cliffs, yeah. Where is this place? I was like, it's kind of out in the country. Now, those of you that lived in Katy for a little while, you're already familiar with this place. How many of y'all know where the cliffs are? Oh, the cliffs, okay. I didn't know anything about it. Totally ignorant. And they were like, I was like, I got to call my mom. And they were already like, ooh, I got to let her know where I'm going. It's first day of spring break. Got to just call her. She's at work. And so they were like, it's got lifeguards, man. They got lifeguards out there. We're good. I'm like, sweet, even better. Mom, I'm going to this place called the Cliffs. She's like, nope. I'm like, they got lifeguards. Okay. So anyway, she let me go. Now, this is the day before cell phones, 1992, obviously, right? And this is back when Katy was not Katy like you know it, okay? Those of y'all have been here longer than 25, 30 years, you realize this used to be a lot. Where we're at right now was all like nothing. Like nothing. Grand Parkway, Peak Road was barely here. And this is out going that way toward, which is now Morton Ranch High School area, okay? Cliffs, if you go out there now, it looks like this beautiful lake. They've come in and done a lot of construction because it was very dangerous. I didn't know this at the time. I found out. And it was very dangerous because Texas came back here when they built the Katy Freeway. How many of y'all that old? Jeffy, when they built the Katy Freeway, is that you? Not quite. Okay, when they built the Katy Freeway, they dug up all this dirt, left a big hole in the ground. But it's huge. It's bigger than our 40-acre property here, okay? It's a huge hole, okay? But they dug it straight down. Geniuses, yes, good job. And it filled it with water over the years, okay? And so it was a swimming hole. So we had to ride our bikes, and from my house to there, I lived in the Williamsburg colony at the time, and we had to ride our bikes to there, and that was a long bike ride for a bunch of, short, fat freshmen in high school. So we rode our bikes out there, and of course we didn't have any cell phones. We're completely cut off from everything, so we're 45 minutes on that bike ride from anywhere. There was nothing out there. Bridgewater Community was the only homes out there at the time, and it wasn't that close to where we're at. So anyway, we're out there, and my friends, I get there, and I'm like, whoa, you weren't lying. This is like the cliffs, right? Because like I said, then it was much different than if you go out there now. They've done construction and knocked down these cliffs because it was so dangerous. But if you know our atrium, you just walked in right here. Our atrium, the peak of that atrium is 42 feet tall on the inside. I know that because our lift is 25. You can do the math. And I've had to replace tiles at the very top. So I'll just keep it right there in case anybody's wondering how safe we are around here. I used a ladder on top of a 25-foot lift, but that's it. Okay? So anyway, that's 42 feet tall. Okay? And that's roughly the height of the cliffs back then. If you go there now, you'd be like, wait, what? No, they had literally came in and had to knock these cliffs down because a lot of kids were getting hurt and dying out there, actually. So anyway, we're out there with my friends. I'm getting there, and I'm like, man, dude, I ain't jumping off that. I'm not scared of heights, but gravity wins, y'all. I'm scared of gravity. That's a long way down there. My kids get that from me. We love to have fun, but we're like, man, I ain't climbing up on that 4-foot table, Dad. Like, no, we're scared to death. My kids live like, no. That's me. I like having fun, but when it comes to that stuff, I understand gravity going to beat me every time. Every time. So anyway, I'm up there. I'm not jumping off. But like all my friends are jumping off. There's like these stray dogs up there that are running and jumping off the cliffs. I'm like, what is going on? There's dogs jumping off. And I'm like, I'm still not doing it. And my friends are trying to talk me into it. I'm like, no, bro, that's a long way. It's a long way. Like, I can say all my ABCs, almost all of them, before I hit the water. I ain't doing it. You know? And so, let me pull this up here real quick before I get too off task. Sorry about that. So anyway, I'm like, nope, not doing it. My friends are, they're jumping off for, I don't know, a good 30 or 40 minutes. And I'm just chilling out with them, hanging up. Because, one, it was a long way down, but it was a long way up. And I said it was cliffs. I mean, it was cliffs. There's no beach. It's cliffs. So it's like climbing up that wall with like these little notches in there that are all muddy because we're just going up and saying, I'm like, bro, I can't climb up that. Are you kidding me? Look at me. I can't do that. But the dogs could with no thumbs. You know, they would climb up back out of there. I don't know how they did it. But so anyway, I couldn't get out of there. But I'm like, I'm not jumping. Well, they eventually began to pressure me. And I caved in. And I was like, fine, I'm just going to do it. Fine. Yes, because they're all like, Jeremy, and all this stupid stuff. So I'm like, great. I literally just throw my shirt off. Boom. And I just took off. Lightning speed. I'm so fast, y'all. I took off so fast, and I went running right straight for the edge right here. Well, my friends knew that that is not that. And they started yelling, no, 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 no. And I got to the edge like this, and I could see, because now the sun had come out, I could see that the deep water was right there. And I could see the bottom right here. And it was shallow, y'all. So I tried to, my plan was not to go head first. I'm an idiot, but I'm not stupid, okay? My plan was to go feet first, but hearing no, 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 and seeing that, I did just like that. And I went over head first. 40 foot and 4 foot of water, okay? Okay, I don't want to say the word lucky because it's not lucky, but I'm glad the mud was really soft, okay? It was really soft mud right there. I literally went into the mud past my waist. Didn't get stuck. Everybody always figures they visualize me doing this in the water. But no, I hit the water. I hit the ground really hard, okay? I can tell you I probably know what it feels like to be hit by a truck. It was probably a lot like that. Literally knocked me lifeless. I wasn't unconscious ever, but it knocked me lifeless, completely knocked the wind out of me. Couldn't breathe. I just slowly floated back up while I was underwater coming up. I could hear all my friends jumping in behind me to help me. I could hear them hitting the water. And like I said, there's no beach here. And this is March, okay? This water is still really cold. Any of y'all been swimming at spring break know the water's still cold even though it's nice and hot outside. Well, the water came up probably this deep right here, okay? Well, they just had to pull me up, and I still can't breathe, and they're on top of me, and I'm just trying to catch my breath, and they're not doing anything. They're not trying to help me at all as far as what I feel like, right? I'm scared to death, and they're, he's blue, he ain't breathing. I'm like, I'm trying, man. Shut up, you know? I'm like, tell me I'm good right now. Tell me I'm okay, you know? 'Cause I'm scared to death, can't breathe, don't know if I'm ever going to breathe again. Well, eventually, I'm breathing, and my friend's like, we got to get him out of here. I'm like, it's cold. I got to get out of here, and my friends just do this. And they're just looking at each other, and I'm laying on the ground going, I'm looking up at that too, and they're just like, how are we going to get out of here? And so one of my friends like, well, I'm just going to go get help. So he climbed up first, went and got help on his bicycle, so I knew it was going to be an hour before he got help. So my friends, for the next 40 minutes, put me on their shoulders, like I kind of sat on their shoulders because I couldn't pick my arms up any higher than this, about right here, about as high as I could get them up. And I knew we had to climb out of there. So they had to help me climb out of there. Literally, climbing up that wall. It took us 40 minutes. If you can imagine being on a rock wall for 40 minutes, holding some fat kid that was 5 foot nothing, 160 pounds on their shoulders, getting me out of there. I couldn't really do anything. That's what my friends did for me. Got me out of there. I laid down because, again, I'm looking at my bicycle. And my friends were like, oh, what do we do now? He can't get on his bicycle. I said, man, there's no way I'm riding my bike. At this point, all my adrenaline had worn off, the shock had worn off, and I could feel what had happened, right? I know I broke all my ribs. I knew I'd hurt my neck. I knew I'd hurt my back. And the pain was coming on. It was coming on, right? And I'm laying there, and I'm hurting, and I was like, guys, we got it. And I'm just praying. I'm like, man, hopefully our buddy's going to make it in the next hour. Somebody's going to be able to come get me. And right about that time, we hear a four-wheeler kind of pulling up. And remember, this is out in the middle of nowhere, okay? Anybody know where Raintree Village is? This is this big lake right behind Raintree Village, much different than at this time. all there was the streets. They were just beginning to develop Braintree Village. There were just the streets that were there. So the neighborhood kind of comes up to the cliffs. And the only thing between this neighborhood and the cliffs is a ditch. And when I say a ditch, I mean like a bio, like Texas bio, right? So it's big. So this guy comes up on this side of the ditch, and he's like, "What's going on, boys?" Big dude, big, like bigger than TJ big, okay? All right? It's a big guy, big, strong guy. I can remember this. Had a big beard, really long hair, wearing a flannel shirt and blue jeans and boots. I mean, I remember this vividly. Walks up, "What's going on, boys? What's going on?" "Well, our friend's hurt. He fell. He's hurt real bad." "Well, that's not good. We got to get him some help." I'm like, "Yes, sign me up." And so he just grabs me, and I'm just telling y'all the way it is. Here's how it happened. He grabbed me, picked me up, threw me on his shoulders, and as soon as he touched me and put him on his back, all my pain went away, y'all. Okay? I can remember saying vividly, "Leave me here." I could talk. I was like, leave me here. I can breathe. I feel fine. Leave me. He's like, "We got to get you help right now." And I'm like, no, just stay right here. Stay right here. Don't move. And he says, "Don't worry. I got you. Well, just at this time, when I'm on his back, somebody pulls up in an old Ford Bronco, the big Bronco, you know, the one like OJ drove down the street, right? Just like that, okay? Okay, so he pulls up over here, just coming to hang out, right? Total coincidence, accident, bull, right? Pulls up over here, and this guy's like, "I'm going to get you across that. I'm going to get you over there to that car." And I can see on the back of his shoulders, I can see this ditch, okay? It's a Texas-sized ditch. The water at the bottom of this thing was as wide as this stage. It's 12 feet right here. I know it was this wide, okay? Long way. I was like, "Bro," I'm looking at this. I'm on his back. I'm a short, fat kid. I'm still heavy. I'm 160 pounds. That's a lot of weight for anybody to have on their back. He's like, "I got this." He just takes off down this hill toward this bio, jumps across, and we never hit the water, y'all. Kid you not. And he goes right up the side without missing a step, and I never felt a thing. It should have been, it should have been something when he hit the side of that beach, runs right up the side of the beach, lays me on the back of this car, and as soon as he puts me down, all the pain comes back, right? So I'm just in the back of this van. I'm like, and this guy gets out of the car and says, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I need help." And he's like, "What do you mean? What are you doing in the back of my car?" I said, "Well, that guy just brought me and dumped me in the back of the car." And the guy literally says, "What guy?" And I'm like, The big guy right there just dropped me. "I just need help. I need help. Take me home. And the guy's like, "I don't know who you're talking about." That was my angel encounter, you guys. And I didn't realize that then, and I do now after I've told this story. My dad was like, "Oh, Jeremy, that's so easy to explain." And then it really, all the pieces kind of came together. All these friends that I went with, they were my best friends. These were the friends that I've grown up all the way through elementary school and junior high. That day rocked them to the core. Seeing what they saw, I can't imagine. I don't even know what it looked like from across that ditch when they watched that guy put me in the back of that truck, but they never spoke to me again. It scared them to death. They weren't believers, okay? What they saw, I can only imagine what they saw. So I'll fast forward a little bit. I was in the back of this truck. I said, "I just need to get home. I want to get home. Take me home. I'm just going to call my mom." So I get home and call my mom. The last thing she told me before she told me I could go was, "I just don't want to get a phone," kid you not, word for word, "I just don't want to get a phone call that you've broken your neck." And so my mom worked downtown Houston. I called her and said, "Mom, I'm hurt." I could barely talk. "I'm hurt." I just heard click. She was home out here about 24, 25 minutes. She walked in the door, called the ambulance, took me to the hospital. I'm going to fast forward a little bit through this part of the story. I broke 2 bones in my neck, the big fat one that sits at the bottom of your neck, and there's one on top of it. I broke the tip of that one off, just broke it off, obliterated it. They didn't even know I broke in my neck because so much of that bone, it looked like they were like, "Oh, your bones are just fused together from when you were born." They were like into each other like that. They didn't know I broke my neck at first, but I'd broken my neck, and then I compression 4 vertebrae in the middle of my back. Compression fractured them, which means if I hadn't gone in straight in the water, head straight in, it would have broken them in a different way, and I would have been paralyzed, 100%. Compression fractured. So it basically cracked these vertebrae and obliterated everything between my discs. I'm a little shorter right here than I should be. I should be as tall as TJ. Way better looking. I know, but I should be as tall as him. I'm actually I'm literally shorter right here, and I can really feel it when the weather comes in because I don't have anything between my vertebrae there. So it really bothers me. But so fast forward a little bit from there. There I was in the hospital. Okay, I went through 6 months. I didn't have to do traction or anything like that. Didn't have to have the halo. I was really very fortunate. I literally walked away from it. And doctors couldn't explain it other than the believing doctors said, well, this is just Jesus, man. We have no explanation of the fact that it's just Jesus. He had his life. He's got something in store for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And 1 in a million, every single one of them. And so months later after that, I'm sitting my parents were divorced at the time, so we were going to church with my mom here at Westland. With my dad, I was going to Mangum Oaks Baptist Church, which was over by Eisenhower High School, that area of town over there. And I was sitting on the front row of Mangum Oaks Baptist Church. I'll tell you why I was sitting on the front row. I had this brace that went from here to here and then went up on my neck and held me up like this. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't sit up. Let's put it this way. I couldn't sit up. So I had to sit on the front row because we had pews at the church, and there wasn't enough room for me to do this. And I had to sit down like this, and I had to kick out. And this was really fun in school, too. But I'm like laying back, right? And I'm looking at man, your ceiling looks terrible, you know. That was me all the time. You know, so I'm looking like this. I'm sitting on the front row, and I had my Jesus encounter, like right there. Like right there. That was the first time in my life that I was like face to face with Jesus. Okay, now I'd been saved when I was 6 years old. I understood and had the faith of a child of what Jesus did for me, that he died for me, and he rose again, and he saved my sins. I understood that, and I made that decision when I was 6. But my first encounter, y'all, with Jesus was when I was laying right there on the front row of Mangum Oaks Baptist Church. I was 14 at the time, young and dumb. Now I'm just old and dumb. So, all right. So I'm going to take that story right where it's at, and we're going to jump into John chapter 5. So if you want to get your Bibles out, that's our precursor for what we're talking about today, okay? Today we're talking about a story of Jesus healing a man at a well, okay? Let's dive into this, and I really want us to take a good look at this story today. I'm going to start in John chapter 5, verses 1. Read along with me. And here's what it says. It says, sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate. I wonder how I got that name right. How do you think he got that name? There was a pool, in which in Aramaic the pool is called Bethesda, which is surrounded by 5 colored colonnades. Okay? So it's like this place. Those of y'all went to Israel a couple years ago. We visited here, and you can actually see these columns that are still kind of around this pool. The pool's a little bigger than the stage. Not a very big pool. It's a natural spring. Okay? And there's these places, they built like these pavilions around there for people to kind of come and check it out. So right there it said here in verse 3, here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. Okay, so there's this guy that's there that's been coming to this well over and over and over and over and over for 38 years, hasn't been able to walk, paralyzed, okay? I'm assuming from later in the story he's paralyzed from probably the waist down, or in some way he's paralyzed. He can't function because it says obviously he comes to this well a lot. Why? He comes to this well because this well is a natural spring and it stirs, okay? The water kind of stirs naturally, and it's believed here at this place that if you get in the water just at the right time when this water stirs, that it'll heal you. Okay, and I don't know if it ever healed anybody. It probably didn't, okay? But these people believed that it would heal them. And this guy had the faith to show up, and he kept showing up, invalid and all. He kept showing up hoping and to get healed from this pool, okay? So I want to take the view of this man who has the faith to show up. And then I also want to take the point of view that Jesus had when he was here, because we know this story for face value in the Bible, that Jesus was there and he did what? He healed this guy. Okay? But there's more to the story than healing. It goes way deeper than that. Okay? So we're going to look at this from Jesus' point of view, being the healer, and the guy's point of view being the healed. Got me? You follow me? Okay. So what are they really there for? That's the question we have to ask ourselves today. What are those two guys really there for, and what's the story got to do with me and you? Okay? Let's continue reading. In verse 6, it says, when Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been like this a very long time, he asked him, get this, check this out. You want to hear it? This is old school trolling right here, by the way, guys. The way Jesus says this. He goes, you want to get well? He says, you want to get well? Like, duh, right? The guy's probably like, you're trolling me, right? Because literally that's what he says. Look at the next thing he says after Jesus says, do you want to get well? The guy goes, sir. And I'm sure I imagine he said it like this. Sir, right? And it brings me back to an old story. When I read that, I think of this story about the time that I went with Jimmy and Roy. We were having lunch one day, and Roy was like, he does things spontaneous, okay? We're coming home from lunch. He's like, I'm going to pull into the DPS real quick and get my license renewed. Me and Jimmy are like, oh, my God, we're going to be here all day. Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Let's go. So anyway, we're sitting in the DPS, and he stands up there. He's in front of the camera, and he's all taking his picture, and Roy makes sure his hair's all good, Takes his picture, smiles real good. And so he walks up to the lady. The lady's looking down. She's like, okay, sir, what's your name? Roy Meadows. She's not looking at him, right? Well, how tall are you? He goes, 5'2", How old are you? And he said his age. And she goes, what color's your hair? And he says, brown. And she just looks like this. She goes, sir. He's like, what? Sir, that ain't brown. That's gray. And me and Jimmy will never let him live that down forever. He was probably 38 at the time, but he had way more gray hair than I do, y'all. He looked way older than me, okay? All right? So anyway, when I read sir right there, I think of that story. Like, are you kidding me? This guy's like, do I want to get well? Come on, man. Right? Of course I do. Okay, let's keep reading right there in verse 7. Sir, the invalid replied, here we go. Listen to this. I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. Excuse number one. And he says, well, when I'm trying to get in, someone else cuts in front of me, goes ahead of me, and I can't get in. Excuse number two. What does Jesus say to him? He says, get up. Literally, he said, I think he said it like that. Exclamation point. Get up. And what's he say? Pick up your mat and what? 3 commands right there. Get up, pick up your mat, and go. And it says right there in verse 9, at once the man was cured, and as he picked up his mat and walked. Okay, now let's back this up. Jesus did not come here that day, did not go there that day to heal that man. No way. He showed up there to call that man. Healing was Jesus' vehicle to do ministry with people and change the world. That's what Jesus used his healing powers for, as a vehicle to make ministers, y'all. Jesus used his miracles to make ministers and give people a what? A story. A story. Okay? Follow me here. Okay. When he asked this guy, do you want me to heal you? He wasn't really asking him if I want me to heal you. He's asking, are you sure you came here for what you came here for? What Jesus needed and all he wanted from this guy was his availability. Jesus wanted that guy to be available. And was he? Yes. There for I don't know how many days, hoping to get healed. This guy had the faith, but he did what? Made excuses. Had the faith to show up every day, but still made excuses. Okay? Let's keep reading. End of verse 9 it says, the day on which took place was the Sabbath. So the Jewish leader said to this man who had been healed, it's the Sabbath, the law forbids you that you work. That's what it's saying. Can't work. If anybody's been to Israel on the Sabbath, you know you literally can't do anything. When Jimmy was over there, he literally had people come knock on his door, came all the way over and say, can you come and turn our light on? Like just a switch. That's work. Couldn't do it. So they asked Jimmy because they know he's not Jewish, he could break the law, and that's okay. So he went over there and turned on the light and said, they're like, that's it. They go, that's all we needed, thanks. So literally, don't work. It's against their law. It's forbidden. It's a big okay? In verse 11, he replied, the man who made me well said, pick up my mat and walk. He said, go to work. Let's go. So they asked him, who is this fella? So they said, who is this fella who told you to pick up your mat and walk? The man had no idea who Jesus was, for Jesus had what? Slipped away into the crowd that was there. Okay, so do you really see what just happened there? What just happened? Let's think about that. Jesus healed this guy, had his encounter with him, right? His first initial encounter, sitting on the front row at Mangum Oaks Baptist Church. Had an encounter with this guy. Changed him forever. Okay? And then what? Slipped away into the crowd. Why? Because of what happens right then, what we just read. What's the first thing he did? He started telling his story. That guy right there just healed me, y'all. I've been on the ground. Y'all know me. It's a small town. Everybody knows me. I haven't been able to walk for 38 years. He just healed me. And they're like, who? Where'd he go? Who? No, you got to believe me. Look, right here. Like, yeah, but who did this work? So he forced him right there. What? To tell his testimony. His testimony, his story. His story just completely changed. And Jesus is already like, time to tell your story. Time to get out of your comfort zone. The guy, he hadn't been walking long enough to really be in a comfort zone, but he's already pushing him into a more uncomfortable place than he's ever been, right? Pushing him out of his comfort zone. Okay? What did Jesus do at that point? Verse 14. It says, later, maybe days, maybe months, later Jesus found him where? At the temple, in church. And said to him, see, you are well again. Again, meaning time has passed. See, well again. It says, stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. Worse than what? Worse than being an invalid my whole life? Come on, man. Come on, Skip. Right? No, seriously. Okay, so look at why did Jesus say this, okay? Jesus did this because Jesus understands ministering, okay? He understands that I had an encounter, I got to follow up. So Jesus comes back to this guy later and says, are you doing what I've called you to do? I didn't just heal you, I've called you. Are you doing it? Being tough, right? This is the lion Jesus, by the way. This isn't the lamb Jesus, okay? This isn't the sweet Jesus in the pasture that we want to see. Oh, Jesus is so nice. Jesus is tough right here. This is tough. Stop sinning. That's a condition, y'all. Jesus' love is who he is. It's his character. It's everything that he is. But when Jesus calls you to ministry, right here, it's conditional. It says it right there. Stop doing it or else. That means when you're ready, when I call you to ministry, let's go. We're going to work. And there's conditions to that. Follow me? Okay. Where we need to be, you and I need to be, we need to be putting ourselves in both of these people's positions every day. Here's what I mean by that. You and I need to be ministered to every day of our life. I need to be ministered to, y'all. I need people like you in my life. That's why I'm here. I need y'all to minister to me. That's why we're doing life together. And you guys need me. We need each other. But on top of that, we need to be Jesus in this story too. If we're not going to these places, going out to people that need to be ministered to and ministering to them like Jesus, then what are we really doing? You're only doing half of it. If you just come in here needing to be ministered to, which is why we're here, but if we're going to do what Jesus did, what did Jesus do right here? His ministry was to take people and turn them into ministers. That's why he healed the man. He called him into ministry right then and there. And then came and followed up and challenged him again. Are you still doing it? If not, you're going to have a life worse than where you were. So Jesus' love is unconditional. I hate to use the word unconditional because you can't have love unless it's unconditional. It's redundancy. Okay? If it's not unconditional love, it's not love. Okay? But again, Jesus' call for you and me in ministry is conditional. Jesus wants you and your story. He wants your story, how you got to the well. He wants that. He needs that. He loves that. I think Jesus looks for the stories that are like those big, the bigger the mountain to climb, the bigger the rags to riches, the better. Okay? I think he loves it. He loves you broken. It's unconditional, but he's calling us to work, calling us to minister. Okay? I'm going to jump right back into where I left my broken back story. because this is what it meant. And this is where I had my Jesus encounter that day when I broke my back and when I was sitting there at Mangum Oaks Baptist Church, I had my face-to-face encounter with him. Here's how I knew that Jesus was ministering to me. Because as I'm laying there in my house, I hear a knock on my door. And I know who opened the door. It was Roy Meadows and Jimmy Taylor, 1992. I've been only visiting there a couple weeks before I broke my back. Obviously, I hadn't been to church while I was at home. Wasn't really safe for me to get out and get around people yet, because if anybody bumped me, it could hurt me, that kind of stuff. But they came to my house because they saw something in me in the short amount of time that I've been going to church here at Westland. They saw something in me. They knew I had a story. So they ministered to me because they've been called to be ministers. Not ministers by preachers. They were just ministering as friends and people. So when I say ministers, I don't mean you have to be working here at the church. That's not what I mean at all. They came and ministered to me. Made a huge impression on me. Surprisingly enough, Jimmy Taylor made an impression on me. So there you go. Yeah. Well, he's my best friend to this day because of that. Okay? Another person that made their impression on me and built and ministered into me was Tim Ripperger. You guys know Tim Ripperger. He's been in church here since then. He was our youth minister then. Here's how dumb he was, okay? Get this. I love telling dumb stories about people. So Tim, his first Sunday, we're kind of like in church sitting like this, and we put him up on stage, and Roy goes, okay, well, tell us your philosophy on youth ministry. He goes, we're going to have fun. You can see Rip does. He was skinny then, though, okay? So he was like really skinny. You wouldn't recognize him. Hey, we're going to have fun, and fun. And I'm sitting over there going, you idiot. Are you kidding me? He's just like sitting there all proud, this goofy little grin. I was like, dude, you can say Jesus in there too. It's like this simple church answer. You're probably going to get a job, But so it's a Rip built into my life. So those three guys right there built into me when I was a youth in high school. Okay? Them ministering to me and teaching me what it means to be a minister, showing me that, living that with me, is what I'm all about, y'all. That's why I'm all in at Westland. That's why I've been here forever. Right? I've been here since 1991. I'm 43 years old. You do the math. I can't. That's most of my life. Okay? It's a lot of my life. A lot of you sitting in this room weren't even born then. Good grief. Right? But that's why I'm in, because they showed me right there and built into me. They saw something in me, built into me right then and there about how to be a minister. And I'm all in. All in, y'all. So my question to you as you're sitting right here at Westland Baptist Church is, are you all in? This is a place you can be ministered to. If you'll come and keep coming, showing up to the well, but listen to Jesus' call. Don't just come every time and make excuses. Come and work, like Jesus says. Pick up your mat and let's go. I'm going to make a minister out of you. We're doing what we're going to do. We're doing what we're called to do, what we're built to do, what we're made to do right here. We could change our world. Literally, us in this room. We can literally do it. 100%. Let me tell you a little story about how I'll just tell you a story about me and how God put this in me that if I'm going to go in, I'm going to go in. I'm all in. From what I learned here and when I was young at Westland, if I'm going to go in, I'm all in. I'm at college a few years later, okay? I haven't started working at Westland yet. I think I was just getting ready to start my time here at Westland my first summer. Right before we came home from school, they were starting a ministry in Lubbock called Paradigm. Okay, they started one in Breakaway at the same time, had tens of thousands of students there every week. We were starting the same thing with a guy named John Reynolds, one of the best mentors I've ever had in my life, one of the greatest guys I've ever met. We were starting Paradigm from the ground up, and I said, man, whatever we're doing, I want in. Sign me up. Whatever I can do to help, I'm there. I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of what God's doing in Lubbock with students. So they were like, well, we need people in the band. I said, sweet, I'm in. They were like, guitar. I just picked up guitar because I knew I was going to be working here in this summer. I literally just picked it up like 2 months before, and I was terrible. I'm really good at guitar now. I know I'm good at it, but this is 2 months in. I was bad. I was like, I'm going to go try out. I'm going to go try out because that's what you got to do. You got to go. I'm going to suck, and it's going to be great. Here we go. So I went in there and I was terrible, y'all. I was terrible. I couldn't make it through a couple songs. They were like, "Here, can you play this song?" I said, "Nope. I can play this one." And they were like, "Can you play this one?" "Nope. I can play this one." So I didn't make it. There were like 25 guys trying out and girls. I didn't make it. But at the end of it, I said, "Hey guys, I know that was terrible. I know I'm not going to play guitar. What else do you need?" And they're like, "What do you mean? What can you play?" I said, "What else do you need?" And they're like, "Well, nobody signed up for percussion yet. You want to do that?" I said, Yeah, sure. When is it? I said, "This is on Monday." They said, "It's Thursday." I said, "Great. What time?" 2 o'clock. "Great. I'll be here Thursday, 2 o'clock. Walked out of that room and I said, "Man, this is what I got right here." I'm looking around like, I got nothing. I ain't never played percussion before. I was in marching band, so I knew. I was like, I'm not going to walk in there with a snare drum. Come on, man. You know? I was like, I had $52 to my name to last me till the end of the school year. That's how I could live in Lubbock so cheap, y'all. It was ridiculous. But that $52 is going to make it long enough for me to get my $25 tax return and then make it to the end of the semester. So I was like, man, I got a little bit of money. I can play with. So I went down to the music store, saw some congas, $240. I'm like, yeah, whatever, okay. Look at it. I'm just going down the line. That's too much. That's too much. That's too much. I get to the end of the thing where they got the stuff in like little tiny shelves, you know. And I'm like, oh, that's a shaker. I can afford that, but I'm not walking in there on Thursday with a shaker. Here I am. Here I go. You know, I'm gonna shake away, shake away. Ooh, man, can you play that? Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not walking in there. So I was like, man, I just went to the lumber yard. I saw some of those drums that were in there. I saw them and I said, I can make that. I can make it. So I went to the lumber yard, spent $38, with a little bit of math. I said, I can live on the rest of that till my tax return comes back. I can live on that. And I bought some wood. Cheap wood. Cheap as I could get. Back then, wood was cheap, y'all. Okay? I could buy wood cheap. And so I went to my buddy's house with all this lumber. I said, man, your dad's got tools in his garage. He said, yeah. I said, can I borrow them? Sure. So I'd seen this. I just looked at it. I picked it up and looked at it like this in the store, and I said, okay. And I just went home, and we just started making it from memory. And this is what we came up. We built this right there. So I built this on Tuesday afternoon. My auditions are when? Thursday. Well, I had to let the glue dry. You know, it took us to Wednesday to make it, right? Because we didn't know what we were doing. And so on Thursday, I was like, they were still all natural. And I was like, well, I'm going to stain them. I got time. So I stained them, and it's all still wet. All the epoxy is still on there. And it's like noon, and I'm like, well, I guess I ain't going to get a chance to play them. So I just grabbed them still wet, and I literally grabbed them like this, and I had this one on this shoulder, and I picked this one up, and I walked in there to the audition just like this. And they stopped me, and they said, whoa, where'd you get those? And I said, well, I made these. I said, well, you made those? And I said, yeah. They said, when'd you make those? And I literally went like this. I didn't even have a watch on. I just went, Tuesday. And they said, wait. You came in here on Monday, and you sucked. That's what they said, because they were right. I said, yep. You asked, what else do you need? I said, yep, we told you percussion. Yep. You went home and made drums? Yep. I said, you're in. Of course I was in. I still hadn't played them. But you know what they knew that I knew? I was going to learn. I was in. And sure enough, I learned. I was the best percussionist in West Texas, y'all. I traveled with those things all over West Texas, playing in churches all over that side of the state. We covered the state. We went that Paradigm Band. We went everywhere. And that was our on-the-road gig right there because we could fit that in the back of the Toyota. I was all in. I was willing to do whatever it took and then go wherever I needed to go and learn whatever I needed to learn to do ministry because of what had been put in me right here. So my question to you is, I know you're available, you're here. Are you all in? Are you all in for the long haul? Because our long haul here, guys, is actually a pretty short haul. Are you willing to lock arms with everybody in this room not only to be ministered to, but to become ministers. And your story is different than mine. You're not going to beat on the bongo drums. If you do, great, I'm going to beat with you. Let's go. But your story is going to look different than mine. Your story is what we see in you. We hear what we see that in you. Promise you we do. And we want to lock arms with you, and we want to minister and change our world with you. Because we don't have a plan B, y'all. Jesus didn't have a plan B, neither do we. You're our plan A. We don't want a plan B. We want to lock arms with you and your gift and your story, no matter where it is. If you're at the beginning of your story or at the end of your story, like Jimmy. If you're at the, we want to do life with you. Okay? Last thing and we're gone. Looking at what happened back at this well, right? Jesus broke the rules, man. He broke the rules for you and me. He went to work when he wasn't supposed to because he saw something in this man. He sees something in you and I. I love what he says when they confront him here in verse 17. They basically just said, "Who are you to do what you did?" And Jesus answers them with this, and he says, in his defense, Jesus said to him, he said this, "My Father is always at work to this very day, and I am too. No matter where I'm at, no matter what the rules say, I'm in," is what Jesus said. I'm in. We live in a time right now where they're putting a lot of rules and telling us things we can and can't do, right? Are we going to go to work? Are we going to go to work? Let's pray. Jesus, thank you so much for teaching us through your word. That God, that there's so much in your word that's so much deeper than what we even read on the surface. God, thank you for being a healer, but thank you so much for that being a vehicle to do ministry and a vehicle to teach us and change our world thousands of years later. God, I thank you for first encounters with you. And if you're in here today and you've never had that first encounter with Jesus Christ, there's absolutely no mistaking that you're in exactly where you're supposed to be right here, right now. There are no accidents. There are no coincidences. Jesus is talking to you right now, like he did that man at the well. You want to get well? That's what Jesus is saying. If that's you today and you want to make that decision, it's really super easy. It's nothing fancy about it. You literally just have to tell God right now, God, I want you to be my Lord. I believe you paid the ultimate price for me and everything I've ever done wrong. I believe you died for me and my wrong. That you rose again to conquer that death and conquer my sin, and you are my Lord. That's it. It's that simple. If that's you today, awesome. I want you to make that prayer. Say that to him right now, and your life is forever changed, forever changed. And for those of us that have made that decision, God, thank you for challenging us to be all in. Thank you for that challenge. God, just continue to speak in our hearts. Show us something new. I don't hate to pray it, but I'm kind of even reluctant sometimes. God, show me something new. Push me into a new, uncomfortable place today. Some place that I'm not ready for. It's not on my radar. But God, you're going to challenge me in a new way and push me into a new area of ministry. God, do that. Do that in us. Do that in our hearts, in our lives, in our families. God, continue to speak to us as we leave this place. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, as we get ready to go, you guys have a decision to make, just like I do right now. What are we going to do? Are we going to go work? Are we going to go to work? And what does that look like to you? So as we leave here today, I want you to be, first, I want you to be very excited. I want you to be excited for life. If you want to change your world, you better start right there. I don't want anything you got if you're not excited about it. You ain't going to sell me nothing. I don't want it. If you're not excited when you come to my door, I ain't buying it. Ain't buying it. If you're not excited about Jesus, nobody wants it, y'all. Period. They'll shut the door. I mean, I'm good. You look miserable. If you're not excited, nobody wants what you have. So you get excited. And if you don't have anything to get excited about, you get excited about getting excited. It'll just happen. It'll just happen. I promise you. Start telling you, I'm excited. Oh, I'm excited. You know, I'm sure teachers, I'm so sick of that word. I'm so excited. We're back at school. You know, I don't know. That's what Kristen said. The first day was like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yeah. But be excited. We got something real to be excited about, y'all. Excited. So here's my challenge to you. Leave here excited. Be excited to eat your lunch. And it's going to be contagious. You walk in that door next week excited to be here. I know you are. But if you are excited to be here, it's going to cause a stir in the waters in the pool of Bethesda. People are going to come here to get healed, and then they're going to get to fight. They're going to get to meet Jesus. They're going to come here for the water because of our excitement and our buzz, but they'll come here and they'll meet Jesus, guaranteed. That's what Jesus does. Okay? So we're going to be what? Excited. You better believe it. Okay, so next week when we come in here, you guys are going to be like, I'm not even going to have to say anything. I'm going to be like, daggum, y'all are excited. Can't wait to do this with you. You got me? All right. I love you guys. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Woo! All right. I love you guys. We will see you guys next week. Plug in small groups. Be here on Wednesday night. We got awesome ministries for you guys and your kids. Love y'all. See y'all next week.
We got to model before others that we just don't want to look right.